Number one request I got today was to discuss the changes to the postmark system for the USPS. So this is obviously an attempt at voter suppression. I'm probably going to have more thoughts on it as this story develops. But basically, the Trump regime has decreed that the post office is going to change the way that they do postmarks. It used to be, right, if you have it at the post office, it hits the post office, it'll be postmarked that day. Now they're saying it has to go to an automated sorting center. So you could drop it off at your little local post office and you can think like, okay, I'm dropping this off on the 27th, it'll be postmarked today, but it doesn't get to the automated sorting facility for a couple of days. It won't actually have a postmark on it until the 29th or 30th, even though you dropped it off at your post office on the 27th. That is a huge change, and it matters a lot for elections because in many states, there's some states where they require you to have your ballot be received by election day, but in an awful lot of states, it just has to be postmarked by election day. So now it creates this problem, right? This is what fascists do. They want to undermine free and fair elections. They don't do it by Starlink zapping the votes. They don't do it by outright canceling elections, despite what bros like Chris Valenti keep saying. The odds of an autocrat completely canceling an election are like nil, because that would result in a giant uprising of the people. They try to have this veneer, this performance as if there was still a democracy happening. So they have elections. It's just that they suppress the vote. They gerrymander, they disenfranchise voters. They use every trick in the book, right? Be it congressional or presidential elections, they use all of these tricks to make it as hard as possible for people to cast their vote. And then at the end, to have their vote counted. They have all these lawsuits and all these reasons why they can exclude your ballot, why they can just completely pitch it. This new move with the post office is one of those. It's one of those we're going to try and exclude your ballot after the fact by saying, oopsie, it doesn't have a postmark in time. You got it postmarked after election day. It doesn't count even if you dropped it off on election day. And this is going to, I think, from what I've read, impact rural voters more, right, who have a small rural office and they're not having their mail delivered to a larger automated sorting facility as quickly. Which to me is like a little bit weird that the Trump regime would do this. Actually, there's so many ways that they try to disenfranchise voters that actually hurts their own voter base, right? You're disenfranchising rural voters. White rural voters in this country overwhelmingly support Donald Trump, support Republicans. So it seems like the group that is most likely to be impacted by this might actually be Republicans. This is why we need more data. I need more information. We need to find out more to realize, to get a better picture, I should say, of who's going to be the most impacted. But regardless, Republicans are always trying to make it as hard as possible for people to vote and as hard as possible for them to have their votes counted.